In this video we are going to study a very simple Android application named ButtonDemo. The application is such that it shows some text in a text view, and then there is a button to change the text. So it's a very simple application. And the application is made of 3 XML files and 1 Java file. And you will see that the application, although it is quite simple, it has 2 user interface languages. And I hope that you will learn the very basics of the structure of Android applications and the Android Studio projects. And you will learn how the XML code and Java code connect to each other. My name is Kari Laitinen, and let's start. So if you go to naturalprogramming.com, you will find this icon there, and through this icon you find this page, and there you will find this link, Simple Android Applications, and through this link you will find this list of applications. And there is this ButtonDemo folder there, and it means that the ButtonDemo application is copied, the Android application is copied to that folder there. And I have here already, I have the Android Studio activated here. I have recently updated the Studio, and I have also an Android emulator running there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to set up a new Android Studio project here, and then I'm going to copy the necessary files from the project that is here on the internet. So first I select this Start a New Android Studio Project, and well, I have to give some name, and I will name it ButtonDemo, because I don't have a project with this name yet. And well, I will empty this company domain here, and well, the Studio suggests that I would use this location to store the project. That's okay for me, but then I have to modify this package name, because in my projects or in my Java files the package name is like ButtonDemo. So I will write it like that. So that it will correspond what is there in my Java file. Well, we are going to use Java here, so I don't need include C++ support or Kotlin support. So I will say next. Well, I will use this API 24 because I have this emulator that is supports this API. This 24 means the Android versioning is an Android versioning number. But I will use this 24 here, and I'm using only a phone. I'm doing only a phone or tablet application. And next I select empty activity, and next, and here I have to be careful. First, I don't need backwards compatibility, so I will uncheck this, and then I will put the activity name. So this name here is the name of the activity that is written into a Java file, and because I have already an existing Java file, I need to use the name that is in use there, and I remember that the activity name is there, ButtonDemoActivity. I will generate the layout file, and that should be it. So let's finish this thing and see what happens. So Android Studio starts working and it does many things and it generates some files. So it already generated this ButtonDemoActivity.java and it generated this activity ButtonDemo.xml. So this is the main layout file there. But I don't, at the moment I don't care about these files, or I don't have to worry about the contents of them, but we can test our project already in this phase. So because it generated something there, so let's see what happens when I press this run button here. The green button here I can use to run the application. So now it looks for virtual devices where I can run the application, and I have already this connected and running device there, and I say OK. So let's see what happens. It says Gradle build running. Now it says installing APKs. And now it says launching activity. And now the activity is launched. So automatically when you create an Android project, it always creates a project in which shows this text "Hello World" to the user. So now I know that I can run this project, and now I can start modifying. And I can modify it, so I will modify it so that I copy the existing files from my own projects on the internet. So I will go here, and here you see what is the structure of an Android project folder hierarchy. It's quite complicated. Oh, we don't translate. Oh. So now it did something wrong. So I select this app subfolder, and there I find this src source subfolder, and there I find this main folder, and there I find the Java and res folders which contain the necessary files. So let's take first this Java folder, and there are two subfolders, button and demo. There are these subfolders because my package name was like this, and that there was this button and demo, these words there. So I have the ButtonDemoActivity here. I will now copy it with the right mouse button and save it to the corresponding folder in my local file system. So I have the ButtonDemo here, and I have the app, and I have the src, I have the main, and Java, and button, and demo. And there I will store this file, and I will replace the existing file. And now I go back here in this folder hierarchy and I go to the res folder or res subfolder. It contains all kinds of resources, and those resources are usually these XML files. So there is now this layout folder, and that layout folder contains an XML file that specifies the main layout of the application. So, and again I will use the right mouse button. I will save link as, and I have to go back here to the main folder, and there I select the res and layout, and I will save it there, and again I will replace the existing file. And again I go back here with my browser, and then I have to copy this values file from this values folder, and I take this strings.xml, and again I say save link as, and I will save it to the same corresponding folder in my project. And I replace the existing file, and I take one more file from here, and I take it from this folder called values es, and there is also a strings.xml. So I'm going to copy this or save it, and I have to, because now here I don't have this values s subfolder, I have to create it. So I will create it first. And I will create it. Now it is there, and I will store it there, but I have to store it with the same name as or with the original name, and like this. So now I have copied 4 files from my network project to this local project, and now I should be able to run the thing. And you can see that this changes, and the new file is there. So I will just do so that I will also close this XML file. We can take a look at these files later, and let's see what happens. Now I'm using the old device that is there. So now the application is running there. I used some bad. What did I do? I just don't know. Okay, now it works again. I'm sorry about that. So the application is such that there is this button, and when you press the button, the text changes. First there is hello text, and then there is well done text. Hello and well done. Very simple application. I don't know actually what it is complaining here, but I will take this file to another editor and view it there. It's easy to see what is there. So I have this other editor here. It's called Sublime Text, and I will open oh, I don't know how to use this. So I will open the file with this editor like this. So here in the at the beginning of this ButtonDemoActivity.java file, I have some comments that explain what files belong to this application and what files you have to copy when you want to make this work locally on your computer. So basically it is quite short, this file, and this is a Java file, and this is the main activity of the application. And you always, when you make an Android application, you derive your own activity class from the standard activity class, and there you specify what you want to your application to do. And here in this application there will be one text view and there is this button, but you don't have to create the button or the text view in the Java code. You can do it, but you don't have to do it, because those user interface elements, they are created based on the XML file. But what we can see here is that there is this onCreate method, and then there was this button was pressed method. So there are only two methods in this file, and this onCreate method is that the method that is executed when this activity is created or the application is activated. And usually what you do in this onCreate method is that you call the corresponding superclass method, and then you set that what is shown on the screen. So you set the content view, and with this I refer to the user interface specified in the XML file. And here I get a reference to the text view that is specified in the XML file. So I think now it is good thing to proceed to so that I will open also the XML file here, and let's take a look at that. So I will open the XML file. So it was in the main and res and layout. So there is the XML file. The XML file looks like this. So if you are familiar with HTML, so this shouldn't be very difficult to read then. So this is now using this user interface now is using layout called relative layout. I'm not going to explain that any further to you, but you specify the relative layout like this, and here is the closing tag, and then inside the relative layout we have two user interface components or elements, and they are the text view and the button. And as I said, the system automatically creates these objects. You don't have to create these objects in Java, but you can then get the reference to these objects in the Java code if you need it. So each of these elements have then an ID. So here it is changing text, and then the other ID is button to press. And here I specify, for instance, that the text view, it is horizontally centered, and its top margin is 92 points, and the text that is shown in the text field, it's specified in the strings.xml file with this name. And then there is this text size and text colors are specified as well. And here is the same thing, or the definitions for the button. So there is an ID for the button, and then there is a method here. So here we specify that a method named button was pressed in the Java file will be called when the button is pressed. And this button is centered both horizontally and vertically. And then there is this text on the button, and here we refer to the text that is on the button, and that's also specified in the XML file. And there, here we specify the background color and text size and the minimum width and height for the button. So here everything is specified in XML. With the Android Studio, it's also possible that you can specify the properties of the user interface components graphically, but my experience is that it's good to learn to understand this XML-based definition of these user interface components. But we have to still take a look at this strings.xml in order to understand this completely. So I will open one more file. So I go to res folder, and there I select these values, and there I select this strings, and I open it. So inside the strings.xml we can have the strings of the user interface specified. And for instance, here I say that here we refer to this hello text. Here we refer to the hello text, and so the corresponding name is here, and this is now the actual hello text. And here we refer to the press text, and this name here is then the same name here, and then this is the actual press text. So the idea here is that you can, in this strings.xml, you can then specify the texts that are shown on the screen, and then you can specify other strings.xml files for other languages, and we had. So I will open one more file here. So I will go back in the folder hierarchy, and I will select this values s folder, and there is another strings.xml. And so this has the same names here, but then the actual texts, they are in Spanish. These are my translations. I don't know if they are very well translated. So with this arrangement, it is possible to do so that when I change the language of the phone or device where this application is running, it automatically starts using these texts. So we can test this. So I will go to this, in this emulator, I will go to the settings, and there I find the languages and input, and I select the languages, and I will take the Spanish language to be the number 1 language. So you see that now the language is Spanish, and let's try to run our application. So the button demo is there, and you can see that the language is now Spanish, and it works as before. But let's then take a look. Let's go back to this layout, main layout file. You can see that there is this button was pressed. That was specified as the method that is executed in the Java file when the button is pressed. So when we go to the Java file, we will find this same method here, or the method. And you also now see that if we go back to this onCreate method, you can see that, for instance, that because now in this button was pressed method, we have to refer to the text view that is on the screen. We don't need to refer to the button itself, but we have to refer to the text view. And so already here we have made a reference to the text view object that is created automatically by the system. And so there is this method in use, find view by ID, and then there is written r.id.changing text. So this changing text is the text or the ID that is specified in the XML file. And what the Android Studio does is that when it compiles a project, it creates this file named r.java. And this r.java is then contains these names that are links between the Java code and the XML files. So this way I can refer to the definitions made in XML files. I can refer to them from the Java file. So after this statement is executed, or this assignment is executed, this will refer to the text view object that is specified in the XML file. And when the button is pressed, then I get the reference to the current text. So I refer to the text view object, and then I get the text. And then I have to get also the text, the hello text and the well done text, because now with these words I can refer to the texts, but I don't know if they are Spanish or English. So I can refer to them like this, and then I can compare them, that if the current text equals the hello text, then I set the text view text to well done text, or otherwise I set it to hello text. So here we refer to the names, or we are using here the names that are specified in the XML file for the texts, and the system automatically takes care that if the texts are Spanish or English, everything will work fine. So I think this is all I have to say about this application. So there is only one method that changes the text, and then the texts are specified in the XML files. So maybe on later videos it's possible that we can study other applications that are available here, or you can study them by yourself. But basically not all applications need an XML file. So if you take a look at this list, there are some folders, and there are some Java files here. So those which are Java files, they are just you can create the applications then just by using the Java file. And usually there are instructions at the beginning of each file how you create the project. But I think this is now enough explanation about this ButtonDemo application. You can try it yourself. It's a very simple application. Looks like this. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video.